So number one, I need you to be real with yourself. Where am I? Right? Where am I? Right? Just be real. Am I lazy? Right? Am I not motivated? Right? Am I a starter? Am I not a finisher? What am I? And you gotta know your limits. You gotta know who you are, because once you know your limits, you can test your limits. You gotta be comfortable with hitting the wall. If I got any runners out there, any fighters out there, any athletes out there, anybody that's ever stretched the limits, you know that in order to get to the zone, you gotta hit that wall first. You gotta hit that brick wall first. What does that mean? You gotta be honest with yourself first about where you are, all right? You have not seen success yet. It's once you get in the zone. You've heard me say it. You're gonna hear me say it again. When you get in the zone, it's like running. When you running and you get in the zone, you don't have to exert the same amount of energy you do when you first start running. I don't know if you caught what I said, that we all live life. That we all live life. Some of us, we get more out of it. Right? Some of us get more out of life. We all have the same opportunities. That's right. When you wake up in the morning, I don't care what side of town you live on, the library is open to everybody. If you're young and you're in school, your school might not have the best books. Your school might not have computers. But if the classroom is open and teachers are coming, you got the same opportunity, but you got to take it. Then once we get past that place, we become comfortable with being uncomfortable. We no longer thrive to be in the comfort zone. We no longer place ourselves in positions that make us feel good. We no longer put ourselves in positions that make us comfortable, that gives us that warm, fuzzy feeling. Because listen here, boo, some of what you want, some of what you're trying to get ain't in the comfort zone. And so if what you want is not in the comfort zone, you got to come out of the comfort zone to get what you want. This might be a page in your life. It might even be a chapter in your life. But it ain't the book, baby. You are not finished writing yet. So I need you to get busy living. Are you hearing me? I need you to get busy living. There is still time. As long as there's breath in your nostrils. As long as you can wake up in the morning, listen to me, you still in the game, which means if you're in the game and there's still time in the game, still time left in the game, you can still win the game. You gotta get to a place in your life where all your strength is gone and you're no longer operating on strength, but now you begin to operate on will. We don't quit, we don't give up. We put a switch called will and we start using our willpower. We go into will. Yes, we're tired. Yes, we're hungry. Yes, the mind is saying give up. Yes, it's saying quit. But we cannot quit because we realize we have not reached the goal yet. This is not the goal. This is not what I dreamed about. This is not what I said I was going to do. This is what I talked about. This is not what it looks like. I got to squeeze.
All right, guys, welcome. Welcome. 9 o'clock show. It is a little bit late. I realize that, guys. It's got a lot going on tomorrow. So, here we are, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Guys, if you didn't tell your ladies happy Valentine's Day, I warned you about that yesterday. Guys, you got to be aware of your surroundings. You got to be aware of what's going on. Because, well, if you're not, you're not. And that's really not good. So what I want you to think about, guys, is what you're doing daily. What are you doing every day? What are you doing? What are you doing today that you didn't do yesterday? Right? This is important when you're trying to start a business. When you're trying to put it together, you see a lot of hype out there about, you can do anything, you can be anything. And we've all heard it, right? Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's just going to happen. That doesn't mean that just because you can do it, you will do it. You have to make the decision that you're going to do it. I know this sounds really profound. It's really, it's ever present. You can go anywhere, you can see this stuff, you can find it anywhere you look. But guys, what we're going to do is we're actually going to develop a plan of attack. Tonight, we're going to talk about identifying dropship lifestyle for you, not to use their branding. We're not talking about their branding, but you have to understand that if you're going to get into dropshipping, it is a business. okay? You have to treat it like a business. You can't treat it like a hobby. You'll see all these ads and promotions about, laptop life, and you can do this, and you can do that, and you can be anything you want to be. You can do it within an hour a week. Guys, that's not real. That's just not real. I know that's not what you want to hear. I know that's not what you want to be told, but it's just not real. You have to understand that anytime you start a business, doesn't matter what the business is, you've got to be prepared to put in 40, 50, 60, 70-hour weeks in the beginning. You have to. Excuse me. Guys, and if you're not, this isn't for you, okay? You have to be prepared to do the market research to identify what you're going to do. In the dropship world, guys, that's constantly changing. You've got to be on top of your game. You've got to have a new offer daily or weekly. You've got to have new content coming out. That's true with any web business. You're a blogger. You've got to be putting out content every week. If you're a dropship person, you've got to be coming out with new products and new features every week. You can't just sit idly by and expect to get ahead, okay? So how do you identify a niche, right? Well, the most important thing you have to identify is what's trending? What are people talking about? What are people buzzing about, right? Now, there's a whole host of ways you can do this. How many of you guys have seen the roll of toilet paper with your favorite president on it, right? Could be Trump, could be Bush, could be Obama, could be Clinton. And it's timeless, right? Whether it's a white elephant gift to give to a Trump supporter, or whether it's, whatever the cause may be, right? You get the point, right? That's always going to be something, no matter who the president is, you can always go with the other side and then feed the other side and feed the same side. Being aware of a marketplace, guys, that's what we're talking about, critical thinking. There is no right answer for what should you be marketing in the dropship world, okay? But the one thing that you have to remember is you've got to have margins, because without margins, your dropship business is not sustainable. It's just not. So you have to know that this is your wholesale cost, this is your retail markup, and in between, you can acquire enough traffic, you can justify spending the time it takes to drive those orders. You can justify all of that profitably within a given product. So where are the margins? Guys, electronics, the margins are insane. Information, the margins are insane. Ebooks? Guys, one of my favorite things to market online is an ebook. Whether you're using it as a funnel to drive leads for an upsell, or it itself is the upsell. Guys, you build a little prime, get yourself the resell rights to a big ebook, right? Big, full, lot of info, right? And go through it and put together a report on it. Sell the report for $1. Sell the report for $1 so you know they've got means to pay, and then add that person to your email follow-up list. Have them on drip, keeping them in the loop, featuring a chapter. You break the whole book up into chapters. You get the resale rights. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But anytime you acquire a product, make sure that you are properly licensed and you keep your paperwork, right? Make sure that you keep that paperwork. So you're going to print that out, put it in a file, because you never know when you're going to need it. You never know when you're going to need it. So you break the ebook into chapters, and you can sell the chapters out at a smaller price. You've got the sum total of all the chapters, or you can buy the whole book for 25% less than the sum total of the chapters. Guys, you pay for that ebook once, and every other copy after that is just, you're printing money, guys. You're printing money. It's just that simple. You don't have a physical product, you have a digital product. I love digital products. I love digital products. You take it once and you sell it again and again and again and again and again. It doesn't cost you any more money to acquire it. It's just a perpetual cash cow. So guys, I personally, anybody who wants to get started in drop shipping, I personally recommend digital fulfillment, email fulfillment, push notification fulfillment, website fulfillment, website access fulfillment in the digital goods marketplace. That could be music licensing, that could be video licensing, that could be, guys, how many of y'all are into hip hop? How many of y'all are into music of some sort, right? Going out, if you're into hip hop, did you know that you can go find yourself up and coming producers who are making beats in their own home, and they have no idea how to market this stuff other than just put it out there on SoundCloud, put it out there on these different websites, right? They can do that, sure, but the real money is in commercial licensing. So if you're going to go into commercial licensing of beats, where do you need to be? You need a membership to IMDb Pro. You need to be talking and networking to those people. You need a membership to RIA. You need to be in the RIA catalog. You need a copy of the RIA catalog and start talking to producers. Start putting out the demo reel of these people that you're representing. Make sure that you get those beats. You license them exclusively. You've got the means to do it. You know, if it's a young artist who's just coming up and he's trying to make the rent, guys, he'll cut you a deal for a handful of beats. $1,000 lifetime, you own it. He'll sell you the rights to a couple of things. When you're hiring somebody to do beats for a particular work of yours, make sure you retain those rights. Come to him as a web developer, come to him as a marketer. Say, hey, look, man, I do web promotions, and I really like your beats, and I want you to produce something for me. And then give him the contract that says you retain the rights for your commercial, right? You retain all of the audio rights to what he's produced. Guys, now you own the beat. You don't owe him anything. Keep going and going and going and going and going and going, right? These are how you need to start thinking. This is how you need to start thinking when you're talking about your web production, when you're talking about your web development, when you're talking about building a digital product. Make sure you're monetizing every single piece of this, right? Make sure that you're building on top of everything that you do, every commodity you bring in. Make sure that you have the rights to monetize it moving forward, however you choose. Make sure that your agreements keep you safe. Your agreements are for you. They're not for them. They're for you. And agreements, those are there for when things go wrong. Agreements are not there for when things go right, guys. So I want you to when you're thinking about your agreements, and you're thinking about how you want to put this together, and you're acquiring these digital goods for digital fulfillment in the dropship world, for the automated fulfillment, for the cash machine, when you're putting those things together in your head and you're thinking about it, think about it from their perspective. How can they come back to you? How can they come back after you? What would they be looking for? What would they be trying to say in court? And guys, having your paperwork is how you win in court. So when you're putting all this together and you're going through this and you're building your dropship life, you want that laptop life. You want the ownership. The only way you're going to get there, remember your wealth currencies, guys, credit, debt, equity, that's what we're talking about tonight, equity and capital. You own that intellectual property. You own that music. You own those lyrics. You own that media. You own that. So now you can put it out there and you can monetize it. How do you monetize the beats once you have the rights to them? Guys, if you're acquiring beats, turn around and put those beats into BMI, a management group, and they'll have a percentage of them, but they will watch on YouTube to see if your beat turns up on YouTube. They'll watch to see if your beat turns up on SoundCloud or anywhere else or in a commercial. And if it does, they'll pay for the lawsuit. They'll go and they'll sue on your behalf. They'll take it to court. That's part of their contract for a portion of those rights. That's how that works. You with me? So basically, when you're thinking about how you want to move forward and when you want to put together your product group and you want to put together your portfolio, right? You're thinking in terms of what's marketable on an ongoing basis, right? This is what you need to be asking yourself, not what's hot today, but what's timeless. How many of you guys like David Bowie? How many of you guys think David Bowie has a timeless sound, right? Well, he does. I mean, that's what the industry says about him anyway, right? The Beatles. Everybody loves the Beatles, right? Everybody loves the Beatles. They're timeless, right? Working 8 days a week. How many of y'all feel like you're working 8 days a week? You can relate to what they had to say. They're universal truths. The same thing applies across any of this, guys. You have to be in a position where you're going to acquire things of value, right? This whole equity thing in appreciating assets, we talk about this. It's not just limited to buildings because there's a finite amount of real estate. It's not just because there's a finite amount of gold. That's not what we're talking. This is universal. This is universal. So when you're building your e-commerce setup and you're doing your drop ship, right? In the digital space, you can fulfill that with email. You can fulfill that behind a login area. You can fulfill that with push notification. You can fulfill that with text messaging. You can fulfill via mobile app. There's a whole lot of platforms that you can deliver your goods that capture that lead, that buyer. And how many of y'all heard it? The money's in the list, right? You're building that list and you're constantly touching that list again and again and again and again and again. That's where your head needs to be. You're not looking for the one-off sale and then move on to the next one-off sale, then on to the next one-off sale. Guys, that's a job. You're doing this to free up your time, not spend more of it doing the same thing again and again and again and again, right? You want the freedom. That's why you're here. That's why you're tuning in. You want to know how to set yourself free. You want to be looking for a way to continuously resell. So if somebody buys a beat from you, and now you've got a market and you see this beat starting to sell more and more and more and more people are licensing it, you want more beats like that. So now you're going to go back to that guy, or more importantly, you're going to go to somebody else who's up and coming and say, hey, can you do something like this? And now you're starting to negotiate, right? So they're going to want a piece of the royalties. But now that you've built a track record for yourself and they're looking for royalties, guys, that's fine, but you're not going to give a lion's share to them. You're going to give them a piece of it. You're going to give them a fraction of it. Why? Because you already have the relationship with the management group. Because you already have the ad agencies on lock. You're already set to roll this out. All they got to do is get their butts in the studio and make it happen. That's all they got to do. So 25%, 20%, hey, you know what? That's not a bad deal. That's actually really generous. 15% on royalties, 10% on royalties. That's more in keeping for a produced truck. Now, you're going to pay out of pocket to have them go produce it to sell this deal. Maybe. Maybe you're a better salesman than I am. Who knows? But until you get out there and you start doing it, you're never going to know. You're just not going to know. So what I want you to think about is this. Are you taking action? Are you positioning yourself to go do this? Whatever this is, I mean, it could be this model that we just discussed. Maybe it's not. Okay, let's shift gears. You want to talk about drop shipping on Amazon? All right, that's fine, but you want your freedom. Do you have an auto lister? Are your products that you have a wholesale inventory over here, are they managed in your auto lister? So you don't go and relist something on Amazon that you don't have an inventory? Think about it, guys. Automation is great, but you have to have intelligent automation. There are dozens of auto listers out there, but hardly any of them have inventory management control built into them. Hardly any of them have price awareness. Hardly any of them are continuously, iteratively looking at the Amazon marketplace for what they should list this product at. That doesn't exist out there. These are the questions that you need to be asking yourself. What am I doing to free up my time? If you want to get into physical drop shipping where you're taking the money in here and then you're turning around and you're selling it there, you want to arbitrage Amazon to eBay and eBay to Amazon, that's fine. But that's a job. Remember that. That's a job. Where you're sitting here and you got the Amazon screen over here and the eBay screen over here, and you're flipping them back and forth throughout your day. That's fine. That's great. That's all well and good. But it's a job. Now understand something. When you list something on eBay, let's say you're overseas, right? And your primary market is in the United States. You know what's going to happen at 2:30 in the morning? Your cell phone's going to say, "Ding! You got an order." How? You got to go fulfill that order. So get out of bed, go to the laptop, open it up, and go do your thing. Unless you have automation, unless you have a system that's watching all of that. Now, if that's the case, great, rock on. You have this, you haven't figured out, man. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that's awesome. So guys, it's not just digital goods, it's not just physical goods, it's a portfolio. But remember something, you're always moving toward more freedom. You're always pushing toward more freedom. You are not looking to create a job, you are looking to create a passive income. That's what you're looking for. That's what wealth is, right? We established that's what wealth is. So that's what you're looking for. That's what you want. Oh, all right, we'll back up. What is wealth? Relationship of time to money. It's measured in days, not dollars. In other words, if you were to stop working today, how long could you maintain your existing lifestyle without trading time for dollars? It's just that simple. Is it 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 minutes? These are the questions you have to have an honest conversation with yourself about. And if you're not ready to do that, that's okay. Hang out with us long enough, it'll happen. That light will turn on, and you'll be ready to go. You'll be good to go, and we'll move forward from there. So guys, that is why we talk about dropshipping. Not because we want you to create a job in the dropshipping space, because that's a lot of work. It'll bury you, especially as your reputation starts to build. Once you cross the tipping point of about 150 positive ratings on Amazon, look out. Everything you list, if you're paying attention to the marketplace, everything you list is going to get looked at, and your sales rate will be around the 5 to 7% conversion rate. Once you cross the threshold of about 100, 150 transactions, once you have 100 to 150 positive feedbacks in Amazon or eBay, both of them really, you're going to get really busy. You're going to get busy. And you don't have an auto list or auto list, auto ship, auto relist system, you are creating a job. Now, some of you, that's appealing. You want to do something other than what you're doing, and you'd be perfectly content to be working for yourself doing this. Well, if that's the case, and you want to take it to the next level, and you want to start acquiring inventory on hand that only you have, you need sales prop, you need product intervention, right? Where do you find those? Garage sales, flea markets, estate sales. Looking for you want to talk about margins? Estate sales, man. 90% of these estate sales that are run by the family, not professionally managed, they have no idea what the stuff is worth, and they're looking to just clear it all out. This is where you got to start doing your homework, start doing your research, guys. But I'll tell you something. You start looking into things like Majolica, Lalique, the Werfel Wendy's. For those of you who don't know what those are, guys, those little medallions. Antiques. We're talking about antiques. For those of you who haven't figured it out, we're talking about antiques, antique sculptures, antique clay, antique china. Guys, there's china plates that you can pick up at estate sales for $10 a plate because it's china. But when you look at it and you look at the condition of it and you know what the stamps on the back mean, that plate could easily be worth $200, $300, $400. That takes us to the next segue for the digital life. How many of y'all like to travel? How many of y'all like antiques? So if you like antiques and you like to travel, guys, what would you do if I told you that there were antique fairs all over the world, and just by putting a page together on Facebook that people could start collecting antiques or buying and reselling antiques, if you mark up the cost of that travel by 15%, and the plan is to fill up a container, spread that across 15, 20 people. If you're marking it up 15% for the cost of the trip and you've got 15 people, you made a nice little profit for a week-long vacation buying up antiques in England, buying up antiques in Ireland, buying up antiques in Japan, buying up antiques wherever you want to go. You see where this is going? You've got to change the way you look at things. You've got to change the way you look at marketplaces, right? There is no right answer for e-commerce. You know, we're focusing on dropship, and we talked about how to automate physical dropship. We talked about digital goods, which are much easier to automate because you don't have to relist them. They just sit there. They're just there. It's the same place. It's the same ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. That's why I love them. That's why I love them. We talked about owning the royalties and how you can preserve your equity in music royalties. We talked about how to do those things, how to put all of that together, right? That is how you need to, that's how you need to roll in e-commerce. That's how you need to be building your e-commerce. You need to be setting yourself apart from everything else that's in the marketplace. How many of you guys know how many of you guys understand that if a piece of Lalique has a chip in it, it loses 60% of its value. So you get one chip. So you buy that piece of Lalique at 40% face value, and then you send it to a restorer who restores it. And if their skill is good at the restoring, and there are master restorers who for $100 will repair a chip. It'll take them about 4 minutes to do. It'll only take them about 4 minutes to do. But they've already invested in the paint colors and the paint matching and the texture matching and the gloss matching and all of that. And they'll restore that piece of Lalique where it's now worth 92% of face value because it was restored. You can't say it's in perfect because it was restored. But a restored piece, then based on who restored it with the certification of restoration from the right people, now you're at 92%. You just put 52% equity in your pocket for $100 on a piece of, on a statue that's easily worth $900, easily worth $2,000. You bought it for $400, you put $200 in it, now it appraises at $2,500. Who likes the sound of this? And then you start putting these pieces together in your house, and now your house becomes your showcase. Your house being your showcase, guys, who's heard of the home office deduction? See where we're going with this? Change the way you think. Change the way you think. All right? So when you're putting this together, figure out what you're passionate about. You know, we preface this call with the top 10 niches in drop shipping. Guys, I want you to understand something. There is no top 10 niches in drop shipping. The top 10 niches are the top 10 profitable niches that you're passionate about. What are you passionate about? The point here is not to go sell what sells for the sake of selling what sells. The point here is to get involved in something that you love, something that you're passionate about. Because, guys, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. You won't burn out. You will have a smile on your face, permanent smile, Joker smile, right? That's what we're after here. You got the one life to live, right? Why not live it doing something you love? Why not live it doing something you love? So if the point is to go out of your 9-to-5 into something that you love as a job while you're building passive income, because you're going to have a linear income. You're going to have a linear income before you have a passive income. Those are just the facts of life. You're not going to go join this magic program on Facebook. Okay, I gave you my money. Okay, I'm in my back office. I've watched the video. I'm in my back office. And he says it's going to be great. It's going to be great, guys. Everybody hold on. Everybody hold on. Take cover, Facebook. It's going to be great. Where's the money? Okay, not today. All right, I can be patient. Wasn't here today. It'll be here tomorrow. Right, I'm going to go to bed. I can't sleep. Oh! Because tomorrow's going to be great. And tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day. Guys, it doesn't work that way. Until you start doing it, until you start working it, it's not going to make any money. It's just not going to happen. So you're going to get up and you're going to go to the 9-to-5. That's great. If you have a 9-to-5 that you love right now, fantastic. Skip to automation. Skip to leverage capital deployment. Skip to buying gold. Skip to buying real estate. Skip to buying tax liens. Skip to something that puts your money that you're making to work to give yourself a raise. How many of you get a 2% raise, cost of living type thing? How many of you guys look forward to 2%, baby? 2%? Guys, what would you do if you could give yourself a 2% raise every 90 days? What if you could constantly be rolling back a block of money, I don't know, a tax refund every year into a 6% yield, a 6% interest yield backed by the government? Remember that thing, tax liens? We talked about this. What if every year you took your tax refund and you put it to work in tax liens, in property tax liens? What if you did that every year? What if you did that every year for 6 years, 7 years? Now you've got $30,000 at 6% compounding every 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And if they don't pay it back, you now picked up a house. You have a physical asset that you can rent, that you can sell, that you can rent back to them. They're already moved in. They're already there. Now what a hero are you? You rent it to them for 12 months and then convert it to a private mortgage where you are the lien holder on the new mortgage for them because property lien trumps the bank note. So now you own the property. Guys, you following? Come on. Right? So you own the property. Now you issue them a private mortgage after they've rented to you from 12 months. So you've recouped what you put out in the lien. You've gotten that money back, turn around, put it into another tax lien. Right? But this is only if you already have a linear income that you love. If you don't love what you're doing, pay attention to these brainstorms. Pay attention. This is how we build wealth from the web, right? Opus Rebus. Wealth from the web. That's how we do it. That's what we do here. There is no right or wrong. There is no be-all, end-all. You have to look in the mirror and say, I love antiques. I love archery. I love fly fishing. I love snow skiing. I love energy drinks. Can you tell? Guys, you have to be passionate about what you do. I've been looking into how much it costs to make an energy drink and wondering why this one is $1 and the 5-hour energy is $4. Trying to figuring that out. So I decided, you know what? I know a lot about this market. I know every brand that's out there. Lord knows I put every brand that's out there in my body. I know how they all interact. I know how they interact, what they do, which ones crash, which ones don't, which ones are soft, which ones are gradual, which ones wiring up like this. I know what they do because I've experienced them. So now I go and I buy up one of each of all of these bottles, and I'm looking at what's different in each of them. And the ones that crash you because they have an insane amount of sugar, and they have an insane amount of caffeine, and they have a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of B3, 6, and 12. The ones that are more mellow on the way down have caffeine, no sugar, and a moderate B3. You start to get a feel for how you balance this stuff. But every single one of these have one thing in common, including packaging. They cost less than 4 cents per in quantities of 1,000. That's quantities of 1,000. I found a place that will make these, manufacture them, produce them, bottle them, and package them 2.5 hours from my house in Florida. 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. Quantities of 1,000. They're a nickel a piece. They're a nickel a piece in a quantity of 1,000. That's a $50 order. $50, I can have 1,000 custom branded energy drinks. How many of you guys want to sell Opus Rebus? How many of you guys want to sell Opus Rebus energy shots? The wealth shot. You know, if you add Ginkgo biloba to these and you add CoQ12 to these, the price goes up by a penny, but you have mental clarity. You have a long-term memory spike. You can actually remember things that you forgot. Things are just going to pop into your brain. if you add the B12 to it. How do I know this? Because I've tried it. That's how I know these things with regards to energy drinks. For a nickel, $50, I have 1,000 of these. At a $2 price point, market mean, that's $2,000 worth of inventory. So at $2,000 worth of inventory, and you go and you set up a table. You go and you set up a table with at your flea market. The wealth shot. Get your free wealth shot with your membership, or get your free 30-day trial to your membership with the purchase of a shot, and you got a little activation code built onto it. That's an extra 7 cents to get the numeric Dealy Whopper thing, right? You guys see how this works? Is this starting to come clear? Do you guys follow what we do? Right? That's how you build e-commerce. But you'll never build e-commerce about something that bores you, because you won't be willing to put in the 60 hours a week. How many of you guys are into comics? I am, and then we got the bat, right? I love comics. Love them. Now, collector's comics is completely different from comics merchandising. What would you do if I told you you could license the Batman logo for $5,000 a quarter, and you can print it on anything with a 10% royalty kickback? $5,000 out of pocket, you can put the bat on anything you want to put it on, as long as the colors are true. You have to make sure that you're in the right Pantone and all. They're really picky about that stuff. $5,000 and 10%, and you can put the bat on anything. Any of the Justice League, with the Justice League movie coming out, $5,000. $5,000. Now, how many of y'all follow X-Men? Y'all know there's never been a Gambit movie. They only had Remy LeBeau in one movie for 2 minutes, right? You can license Remy LeBeau and Gambit. You can license that for $500 with a 1% royalty. So then you SEO a page for Gambit merchandise, and the people who are Gambit fanatics are always on Google looking for Gambit. But you're not paying the little margins that you get by going to Alibaba or some other dropship provider. You have it. You have it. So you cut a manufacturing deal to etch Gambit onto a frosty beer stein. Actually, he's Remy LeBeau, so New Orleans. It would probably be a shot glass. Remy LeBeau shot glasses. Remy LeBeau shot glasses are probably where it'd be at. 2 ounce and 4 ounce, and you got the Gambit, and then you got the stick, and then you got the cards, right? This is how you need to be thinking when you're putting this stuff together, guys. This is what you need to be doing. You don't need to be going and looking to copy what that guy on Facebook did or this girl on Facebook did. You need to be you. What are you passionate about? Are you passionate? Are you passionate about gardening? Are you passionate about home gardening? Are you passionate about a spice garden? Are you passionate about horses? Are you passionate about sailboats? Are you passionate about family crests? What makes you tick? This is what you have to be asking yourself. Figure it out. And if you don't know what makes you tick, we really have a lot of work. 450 clues, clear. We're going to bring you back, guys. We're going to bring you back to life, because the Lord knows the last 16 years have been hard on all of us. They really, really have. They have been absolutely brutal. But I want you to remember something, okay? It's never too late. It's never too late. And if you're in a financial pickle, you're behind on your bills, you're behind on your child support, you're behind on your taxes, you're behind on whatever. Understand something. It's not going to go away. You have to stand up and say enough is enough, and I'm going to do something about it. I promise you, it's not going to get better until you make it better. It's just not. So if you're not happy in your life, and you're not happy with what you're doing, and you're not happy with where you are presently, you need to take it upon yourself to sit down, make a list of everything you're putting off. Stop procrastinating. That's what you have to do. So guys, as you're looking around and you're saying to yourself, okay, I can do this or I can do that. And I'd like to do this and I'd love to do that. Guys, if that's what you love to do, figure out how to do it. Guys, you have the single greatest communications tool ever created. Google has over 17 trillion websites in their index. Think about that. 17 trillion websites. Go Google what you want to do. See what Google tells you. How do I sell horses? How do I flip sailboats? One of my favorites? How many of you guys know about the healing properties of cayenne? How many of you guys know about alkali minerals? How many of you guys know what the difference between acidic soil and pH soil means? What would you do if I told you you could write an ebook on how to make soil more basic, increasing the nutrients of your home garden? How does that sound for a lead funnel to identify people who do home gardening? And then from there, you can step that up to, are they a prepper? Are they into guns? Are they into safes? Are they into gold? Guys, people who grow their own healing herbs, because there's an H in it, herbs, if you're in England, it's herb, because there's an H in it. Guys, I want you to understand something, okay? Those people, there are what are called horizontal market integrations. Those horizontal market integrations are where you're going to start to make your money from the list. Money's in the list. What else can you sell to these people who you built trust because you gave them an incredible ebook on cayenne? So now you're going to build a newsletter of herbal remedies, and embedded in your newsletter is a banner across the top. How many people are going to click on a banner to buy a gun safe, to get a concealed weapons permit? Because people who tend to buy herbs, there's one school of those people who are absolutely preppers and believe the government is coming and they don't trust the FDA and they want to have their guns wherever they go. Now, the flip side of that are going to be the pacifists, the ones who want nothing to do with guns. So now you have a fork in the road. One portion of your list are going to be people who buy guns. The other is people who don't buy guns. This is called Boolean logic. It's true or false. This is also called, in the marketing world, wait for it, split testing. So once you get an affirmative on a split test, that becomes another list inside your master list. So now that list, now you're going to go into that list and you're going to say, okay, they didn't want guns. Did they not want guns because they're pacifists? All right. So now you're going to send them possibly a survey. You're going to send them possibly an offer. You're going to mix this up and you're going to constantly be feeding them. Now you're going to split your newsletter. Now you got 2 newsletters to write. Then you got 4 newsletters to write. But you're writing about things that you're passionate about. Why? Because you sold them something that you were originally passionate about. So writing a newsletter about something else, because birds of a feather flock together. And it becomes easy for you to write newsletters about things that you like. And that's your constant touch. Now that in and of itself is a commodity. What happens when you have 50,000 people subscribing to your newsletter? That's a weekly newsletter. That's a commodity, guys. That's traffic. So now you contact an ad agency. God, I wish I knew somebody who knew how to work with that. There's a video for that. Guys, when you're putting this together in your head, understand that I had a plan. What am I passionate about? Setting you free. I love this. I wouldn't be doing anything. Lord knows I could be making a lot more money than I've been making doing what I'm doing. But I love what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I love this. Guys, I've been working the web for 20 years. I've made a lot of people a lot of money. Along the way, I've had huge highs and really low lows. But you want to know something? At the end of the day, I wouldn't trade any of it, any one year for any other year. My ups have been shared with people. My downs have given me the scars that make me who I am. And I want you to understand something. That's true in your life too. That's not just me. That's true in your life too. Embrace who you are. Live for your passion. Do what makes you happy. Because otherwise, what's the point? Right? So when you're going through these paces and you're building your e-commerce business and you're finding your groove and you're looking to put the wind in your sails, don't despair. If it were easy, everybody'd do it. There's a reason everybody doesn't do this. There's a reason for that. So guys, when you're putting this together, you're thinking to yourself in your head, what am I doing? What am I doing that I should be doing? What am I doing that I shouldn't be doing? Every day, be honest with yourself. Am I working toward my goal? Am I closer today than I was yesterday? And there are going to be days where it feels like you took one step forward yesterday and get knocked back 5. And that's going to happen. Be ready for it because it's going to happen. But until you take that first step, you are no closer today than you were yesterday. It's just that simple. So guys, when you're putting all this together in your head, the first step you have to take is make the decision to take action. Because if you're not taking action, you're not moving. Make sense? I know it sounds a lot like physics class, right? And you feel like life is the immovable object. Well, that may very well be true, but I contend if life is the immovable object, you are the unstoppable force. How's that for a paradox? Guys, that's how you have to see yourself. That's how you have to see your dreams. That's how you have to see your ambition. Unstoppable. You're making a decision by being here. You take an action by being here. So what's the next step? What's the next step? We talked about drop shipping. We talked about e-commerce. We talked about music. We talked about a lot. So guys, I hope this has inspired you. I hope this has given you a forward-thinking mindset. I really do. Now that you're in that frame of mind, let's talk a little bit about, let's bring it in, circle it, bring it in. Guys, Bitcoin closed today at our closing point of 1014.13, excuse me, 1014.13. Yesterday it closed at 996. We're seeing this, peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. What does that mean? What does that mean? Again, it was heavy trading today, guys. It was heavy trading in the Bitcoin market. So if you're involved in cryptocurrency, you can get involved for $100. Just open your wallet for $100 on the CEX, on the Bittrex. And when it comes in at this price, set your buy order at this price, set your sell order at this price. And the market, if you stay inside the market price fluctuations, you'll buy it here, somebody will sell it to you here, and somebody else will buy it off of you within an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever the timeline is, but keep that order alive in the order book. That's all trading is. You said, I'm willing to pay this much for it. I put the money on I funded my account with this much US dollars, euros, Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, lari, real, whatever your currency is, I've got that in play. And I want to buy at this price point. And once you bought at that price point, now you're going to enter your sell order at this price point up here. And eventually, somebody's going to come along and buy it because it's a micro amount and they want it all. So if you're within their range of dollar cost averaging of what they've agreed to pay for Bitcoin, you're going to move it. Now you've made a profit. As long as that margin outweighs the cost of your fees, you are gaining money. That's all day trading is, guys. Buying here, waiting for it to get to here to sell it. Enter the market, exit the market. Enter the market, exit the market. Enter the market, exit the market. Up or down, you can make money either way. That's what's going on in the cryptocurrency world. That's what's coming. That's how we're building this out. We're diversifying into cryptocurrency. We're diversifying into gold, which closed at $12.29 an ounce. $1,229 an ounce. Why is this happening? Why are we seeing the surge? Remember, how many of you, when they said, we're in the strongest recovery and Obama inherited this great big mess and oh my God, look at the great job he's done. In 22 days, the Dow has increased by 2,000 points. That's a 1,000-point increase a day. Or 19,000, 21,000. We've gone from the time Trump came into office from 19,500 Dow to 20,500? A 1,000-point jump in 20 days. That's what recovery looks like. That's what recovery looks. The S&P 500 has broken 20 trillion in market capitalization. $20 trillion are in play in the S&P 500. Remember we talked about all that sideline cash? And Trump on the campaign trail kept saying he's going to repatriate the money. What does that mean? That means he's going to make it attractive for these businesses that divested from U.S. interests to put their money abroad. He's going to make it attractive for them to come back. How can he do that? He has to have Congress to do. No, he doesn't have Congress to do that because Obama used his pen and his phone to do it without Congress. So consequently, Trump can undo it with a pen and a phone and put us back on track. You couple that with the fact that he's got a business-friendly Congress and a business-friendly cabinet, the market is going nuts. He repealed the first part of Dodd-Frank today, guys. Small business lending is going to be on the rise. How's your credit, guys? There's a video for this. Guys, there's a system for this. You need to be taking advantage of what's in the back office. Guys, log in, make use of it. opusrubus.com. Get in there, get it done. Get it done. You need better credit to get better deals, to have better finances. It's that simple. Have the conversation in the mirror when we get done here, guys. Have that conversation in the mirror when we get done here. You've got to do it. It's not going to go away. So what do you say we start now? We get started right now. Like that plan? I love that plan. So, all that to say this, guys. Ball's in your court. What are you going to do with it? I told you guys, when Trump won, I told you guys that this was going to be a real estate and banking friendly 4 years. To take advantage of that, you need good credit, you need cash flow, you need stable finances. If you want to leapfrog where you're at to the top 10%, you can do that in 4 years. You can do that in 2 years. If you take what we're talking about here and you apply it, you will never work hard enough to do what we're talking about doing if it's not something you're passionate about. So are you in a 9-to-5 job right now that you're not passionate about? Is your resume out on monster.com looking for something else? Whether it's for more money or more passion? If not, why not? Have you talked to a recruiter? Do you have a skill? Have you talked to a recruiter? Do you want to start something in Facebook? Do you want to start promoting something online? Oh my goodness. Affiliate marketing. There's an affiliate program right here that pays you a linear hybrid income. Does this make sense? Or does it not make sense? I don't know. I don't know. A lot of times people just don't get me. I'm used to it. I really, I'm a little weird. I'm a lot weird. I know I'm a lot weird, and you just got to deal with it because it's never going to change. Okay? It's just because I'm happy being weird. I'm happy being the eccentric guy. I'm happy being the guy who spews out the joke that everybody looks at you and says, huh? I'm okay with that because it was funny to me. It may not be funny to anybody else, but it was funny to me. And that's all that matters. I don't have to please you. I don't have to please the world. I have to please me. And you have to please you. So if what you're doing doesn't please you, you need to fix it. Now. Not for me, not for your sponsor, not for your downline, not for your team, not for your dog, not for your husband, not for your wife, for you. It's just that simple, guys. So I want to thank you all for coming out for the 9 o'clock show. Remember, wherever you go, there you are. There is no escape. We will see you all tomorrow night. Same bat time, same bat channel. Oh no, we're not in, so we can't do that. All right, guys. Y'all are free and clear. Y'all are able to unmute.
Us, Jared.
What's that?
How come everyone hides from us?
All right. I have a plan. I'm going to unmute everybody.
Please.
Okay, everybody is unmuted. And so what does Jeffrey do? He mutes himself. Is it Mike Malone, Jeffrey? Is it Mike Malone? It's got to be Mike Malone.
Yeah.
Who's here?
Actually, here.
Wow.
This guy. Yeah.
Am's here.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.